heightened tensions in the country. Of course, India and Pakistan conflict has seeped into the minds of every citizen. As much as Bengaluru is slightly far away or maybe very far away from the border, it's still awake in the conscience and minds of the people, citizens of Bengaluru. I'm right here in Sadashiv Nagar. This is a very beautiful Sankey Lake here, and our News 9 bus traversing through the city. We're trying to catch the public sentiment on the ground, but before we get to the issues that prevail in the city, I'm going to get a sense on what this war means to them. I might be using a very heavy word of war. It's an escalation. War hasn't yet even begun, but India taking a very strong stand and a stern stand against terrorism. We're seeing what's panning out in the last few days. Are you anxious about what's happening?
Yeah, of course, it's not a great situation to be in, but I think the country needs to strengthen its capability. And today I was watching in the news that in Lucknow they inaugurated the industrial defense corridor, and the BrahMos technical and installation facility has been inaugurated by Mr. Rajnath Singh, our defense minister, and Yogi Adityanath ji, who is the chief minister. Yeah. And that gave me a great sense of relief and also the confidence that the country knows how to defend itself, right. And we feel that we are in safe hands.
Right, you're confident.
Yeah, it's no more the war like 1971. It's what people are talking about, and I truly believe. Yeah. Today India is number 4 in the world ranking, and it is not just in technology. So we are advancing in all aspects of in terms of defense advancement, in terms of a service provided to the world. So I feel we are quite equipped to protect our interests. India never thinks of harming others, but we want to protect our interests, and I think our government is truly taking steps in that direction. Yeah.
You're very happy, and I see these civic volunteers have been really working hard to ensure the Bangalore city is livable for all of us. Would you like to tell us, with sirens blaring in some of the cities, blackouts being announced, it's a war-like situation. How would you receive news and information of this type in today's time for us?
I just hope that the ceasefire holds, and that's really all that matters now. I don't think anybody can afford war in these days. Yeah. So I just hope the ceasefire holds.
Likewise, because I am so removed from the area that the war is happening. I am not living there. My family is not threatened. So it's very easy for us to take a top-down view saying this is what is needed for the country. But if I was there, my children were there, I would be thinking very differently. Absolutely. So war is not the answer for any sort of solution. We've seen wars in the past have never resulted, no one wins in a war, right? Everybody stands to lose. And so I think war is not the way forward, but if the ceasefire holds good, then that's the best way forward.
My same question to you. It's a very tense situation in the country, so all other issues have taken a backseat. What's the kind of conversation happening in your home right now?
It's not much. It's just that we're so far away from everything. We don't have any idea what's going on in their mentality, the people there, what they're going through. Sure, we get WhatsApp forwards, I scroll social media, and we get things, we get the information, but I mean, as of now, it's just that, okay, we are here, we are Indians, we're here to serve our country, we're here to support it and protect it and just do good for whatever's going to happen.
You're standing strong, and that's at max what you can do at this point.
Yes, we are, like everybody said, we are in the safer place. Obviously, we are far from the borders, because I'm a person who's been regularly traveling to Srinagar, to Leh Ladakh, because we do a lot of adventure activities there. So that place has a lot of tension, because we have a lot of people who are been communicating because they're out this. But here we are more in a very safer place. But as a country, we are very strong. We are holding it. But here, as a people, as a responsible citizen, what I think is any messages where we forward it, let's make sure that it is authentic and not just forward it, because in today's world, the war, like earlier, is not the same like today, because there is one message which is reaching within seconds to people through WhatsApp, through social media, Instagram. And many people just forward it with because it's just a touch of a button for a second which can be done. But before that, they should know who's doing that message or what is the authenticity of it before doing it forward, because that is the major thing that as a responsible citizens, sitting here, we can do it when our soldiers are watering and saving us from the borders.
Be
Let
responsible with information. Absolutely, and very well said. I think that's the basic that we can do as citizens to ensure whatever we convey to one another is verified. I think media also is guilty more often than not to put out information and then retract because it's so dynamic. It's called the fog of war, I've heard. I'm, of course, trying to justify a lot of the goof-ups I may have done myself, but it's difficult at this point. But I think the best way to do is rely on the most reliable sources. But at that said, now keeping the war situation aside, I'm assuming that we're going to start hectically defense spending. And at a time like this, how much do you think attention will prevail when it comes to civic infrastructure, roads, hospitals, etc.? Your take on that? I mean, of course, it's a pan-India. It will be a pan-India issue now.
That's a tough question because the state of infrastructure is quite poor. We are a fast-growing city, and I don't think we are planning enough for the years ahead. We don't have a comprehensive mobility plan. We are doing only stopgap solutions, so that is sort of destroying our environment, our heritage. So it's like very ad hoc. And at this point, citizens don't have local representatives to go to solve for their solutions. So there's a lot of missing pieces here. So I don't know where to even start. Lot of issues brewing in terms of infrastructure, development, mobility. Yeah.
Well, so in times of this war-like situation, when it comes down to civic infrastructure, like for example the Sankey tank itself, do you believe that going forward, issues like this could be neglected? Is it easy for us to shift focus? And if not, what would be your advice?
Not really, because I think people will still come for a morning walk, and people still need recreation and so on. So I don't think that we should forget these.
Okay.
I would like to just talk a little bit about public transport.
Yeah.
So, for example, I think this is the only bus that ever comes to Sadashiv Nagar.
No, this is a News 9 bus. If I could show our viewers here, our News 9 bus that's moving across city limits. We've got special permission for it. But the man here holds a grouse that your bus is allowed, but there are no public transport buses here for common people.
So somebody who, like, if you want to come to this gate, there is no public transport. The nearest one, there's one measly bus that comes somewhere over there at the circle there.
Right,
So, somehow public transport is something that our governments are not really worried about.
Right.
We really, it's well known we need a lot more buses, but all the focus is on the big ticket things like metro, as if every house is going to get metro under their house, and then you just walk out and go. So no, there's no emphasis on footpaths and buses. These are the things that people will really take to go to metro. Either I walk or I would take, I should be able to cycle to a metro station, but there's no focus on that. So we really need emphasis on walkability. And, then once you make the streets walkable and people can cycle as well, that is the only way metro will work. Otherwise, people are still going to keep driving.
Yeah. I would like to say that this is a time when you'll have government saying that, well, national security is paramount. Let's keep our focus here. Do you believe national security, civic infrastructure can all go hand in hand, and that's how it should be the approach?
National security has nothing to do with whether we have good footpaths or
Well,
not.
yes.
I don't really see this. That's not even a question because, I need footpath. Even the defense minister will need a footpath if he wants to take a walk. So it has nothing to do with, let's not mix up the issues.
Yeah, no, but politicians can be as bizarre, let's be honest.
The BBMP money budget, for example, comes from the property taxes I pay, right? I don't think that is going to go to the defense budget and so on, right? So,
but as taxpayers' money, don't you think? Are you okay to prioritize national security, national interest in defense spending, etc., and maybe lay low for civic infrastructure until then? No, if there is a reasoning given, would you be okay with that?
I don't think actually the people at the top right now in the government and in general, as I said, India is quite progressing in terms of infrastructure development. We see our highways, so things are getting in place, I think, and I'm very positive about this development. So the last mile connectivity will also be taken care very soon. And we are a large country with such a huge population. So it takes time, and I think the last 10 years have been a major shift in development. So I'm pretty confident that infrastructure development and defense spending can go hand in hand.
Right.
There's a separate budget allocation by the government in
Very
the
well
budget.
said.
So we don't have to worry about it. Only thing, as citizens also we have to be more mindful in using the infrastructure, what is given to us. I think that also matters a lot. And as a government, of course, the state government has a big role to play in the state development. And Bangalore being a startup capital, as it's popularly said, I think it receives all the attention in terms of employment generation. But I think it also needs more attention in terms of infrastructure development, which I think will happen. I'm quite positive about it. I think we need to have more patience. I think.
We need to have more patience, or is patience running out?
No patience running
But are
out,
you happy
but,
with the situation? Are you happy with what Sankey Tank is like now?
I mean, from the outside it looks good, yeah, sure, but I'm an animal lover. I have 3 fish tanks at home.
Yeah, this
and
is Sankey Tank. If I can ask my camera to
yeah,
give it a look.
but I mean, since the reconstruction and all that, there's been really very poor water quality when it comes for the animals there, and very bad aeration. Heavy pollution, very bad pollution in the lake. But I mean, other than that, I don't think so. But that's my only concern when it comes to infrastructure and water, and even the roads, because there've been many roads around Malleshwaram that they've just been digging up, not closing up.
So if I have to pick maybe 3 top issues, civic issues that you want to rectify in super speed, as fast as the defense budget is being allocated and the BrahMos are being lined up, in super speed, how would you like your state government, and what would you want for Bengaluru?
I have one thing. I think the lakes of Bangalore has to be preserved, conserved, rejuvenated in the proper manner, because water is a very big issue for Bangalore, and 80% of the city depends on groundwater, so it's a very, very big pressing problem. There is a lack of expertise that's governing the lakes right now. Many departments are there, but lack of experts, wetland experts, looking at what a lake really needs and the health of the lake. So I think building a narrative for the citizens to understand why lakes are valuable, how to preserve it. Even citizens are unaware. For example, walkers will ask for a concretized walkway, walking path. But a wetland expert will say you cannot do a concretized walking path. But so the citizens lack knowledge, right? So we should have the right knowledgeable experts governing these lakes and letting the BBMP know what needs to be done and what cannot be done. So I think that's one thing that I will go fully after, because that's very important for Bangalore.
Bengaluru Lakes focus that we've got to keep fixated on. Your word at a time like this for what kind of civic changes you might be looking for?
I think we have to quickly address the reconstruction of the roads. We see digging in so many places, and the dug roads are taking a hell of a lot of time to relay, and that is creating a huge problem, because it creates traffic snarls and people get upset, and all the things like traffic jams, and it also leads to environmental pollution because there is so much of fumes and smoke. So I think addressing this re-layout of the roads, we see the roads are dug and it creates a huge problem. So I think the speed of execution is what we are really looking at from the government side.
Lovely. Okay, so here I have, go on.
Yes. So like we said, the local issues here, currently in this area, there is a lot of roads which have been dug up.
Roads
So
being
it is
dug
not
up. I think that's a
being-
persistent issue across Bengaluru.
That is persistent, but here it's been almost a year. It has been many of the major roads which have been dug up. The works has been in a very slow progress, because we are a country with 3 layers of government. It is actually the center, the state, and the local government. But the local government is missing here. That is where this local issue comes in, because the state has its own subject of priority, the center has its own subject of priorities. Like the earlier the person said, the defense is the center subject. The state subject has the other priority, but the local government is the one. But since the local government is not there, the BBMP is also much taking it on a slower pace. There's a lot of inconvenience for citizens across Bangalore. But here, as a local resident, we see a lot of roads being dug up in the last 1 year, almost a year.
That's
So
your
that's
call now, and that's your appeal to to those in power. A quick word, a bunch of young boys here around Sankey Tank. What's the conversation around India, Pakistan, and your home now?
I mean, the one thing you do realize is that India as a whole, citizenship is a very reactionary base, I'd say. You have people celebrating the ceasefire, and then in an hour and a half it's broken. So the one major thing that, you would have to look at and maybe talk about is, first of all, your misinformation going around. All of us know, all of our parents are aging, and, you see a WhatsApp message forward, and all of a sudden there's a forward. There's mass panic. And I mean, the one thing I'd call most media channels out for as well is, mass hysteria and stuff. You have so many channels going around. And the thing is, my parents are old. They don't know any better. They are going to believe what they see on the television, right? You have that. And then you also have a very, again, reactionary youth, I'd say, as well. You have so much anguish, you have so much pent-up anger. And, it results in a lot of people our age especially, being very... I'm not going to say extremist because I feel like that's a big word and, using that is a bit of a pain. But no, I mean, it just shows you how reactionary we are as a country and,
All right. So you're saying that all of this is leading to a reaction that is unwanted. How much of the information do you want to know then? When there's a situation like this prevails, don't you want to know everything?
We would want to know everything, but it depends on whether we would like react based on it. Like we're Gen Z, and Gen Z usually react bit extreme. On social media, we'd
how
all
you present
post.
it as well,
Exactly. Usually on social media, we'd post a lot about it, or we'd go out and we'd write. Some of us might write. We don't know exactly. So all the information we know should be confirmed by the government, maybe probably.
Right. So you want authentic information. I think that's the appeal that I have coming from literally everyone. That if a war situation, yes, but a lot of it is actually psychophancy, and that's the request. They want that to stop, and yeah, we'll surely have that conveyed on our channel. What is it that you want to convey at a time like this?
I think being a localite here from Bangalore, we have seen the city expand a lot, right, from the past few years, probably past decade. I don't see the amount of public transport being increased.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a major thing, right? People keep complaining about, let's just say there are too many cars. Why are there too many cars? It's 100% because the public transport is really bad. I mean, we are better than probably the rest of the country, but it's still not good enough. I mean, you see buses, the state of buses are really bad. There are no bus stands. Okay, like, how can you expect, the general public to wait for a bus where there's no bus stand, right? You see so many cars. Why is that happening? Because there's no public transport.
Correct.
And we talk about the metro fare revision. That's just unfair, man. Like, you think about, you pay for parking, then you climb on the metro, then you'll probably have to walk a couple of, I don't know, probably even
There's
a
no
kilometer.
end-to-end
Yeah.
connectivity, and
I
that's
mean, it's just poor
demotivating.
it's just poor planning, and I think a couple of people also spoke about lakes. We see a lot of planning about lake, and everything's at a halt. Every time there's a plan, there's a big scheme, the government changes and it's gone again. And every time you ask them, every politician keeps complaining, the government's changed, the government's changed. I mean, how does that matter, right? You've been sanctioned certain amount of money for a project. How does it change? I mean, there's
No lack of transparency and lack of consistency, right? You have different governments coming in, and then your initiated projects are halted. I know it's too far-fetched to link, but the situation that's happening along the borders, the conflict between India and Pakistan, and situation in Bengaluru city, civic issues, etc. I'd like you to give your take on both ends.
I genuinely think this is all unnecessary, it's all for this attention type of thing. And I genuinely think it's because of US and China, what they're doing. And it's, they're just encouraging the war to take place because it's going to, affect us. And, it's going to, it's going to be more beneficial to those two because, as you know, the economic wars between US and this direct
So you're
war.
saying it's orchestrated and instigated by more powerful countries?
Yeah, and I genuinely think it's all unnecessary. There's no reason for Pakistan and India to have war like this because genuinely,
I mean, this whole push of terrorism from the border?
Okay, fine. I think that was, again, mistake by them or something which was...
Not
not mistake. I mean, that should genuinely be punished, considering those terrorism. That should be, but targeting Pakistan as a whole, as a country, and India as well, because it's going to, destroy
The
both.
war is not good on both sides.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
get your point. What's your name? What do you do?
Piyush, and I finished my 12th.
Yeah.
And
What's that one thing you'd want for your city of Bengaluru?
reduction in traffic and, better colleges and better transportation only to, travel to the good colleges, all reputed colleges that they're far away and it's really a problem to travel.
So your distance for educate. Well, you're saying all your good colleges or colleges itself are all far, located really far, but Bangalore is known as the education hub.
Yeah, but the place where we live, comparatively, it's like 1.5 hour journey 'cause from the house to the place, and it can't be, traveled every time.
Yeah. So then I think good, robust public transport, will that be a good...
That's still gonna take a longer time,
Don't be a spoiled kid.
Yeah, no.
You have to travel.
Yeah, I mean, that's something entirely.
Okay, so you want traffic off the streets, and I think the only way is better public transport. Ma'am, situation that is now between India, Pakistan, your mood on the ground as a citizen of this
Talking
country.
about the city, I'm house.
Sure, sure. I mean, I'm only saying this because now the mood and the sentiment is of the war on the ground. So therefore, I wanted to start with it. But you can go right
I'm
ahead.
not talking much about the war. That is very bad thing what happened. The Modi is taking care, I believe.
So you're not worried, okay.
Narendra Modi. No, I'm worried about. I love my India.
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about this city,
on.
Bangalore
Go
city.
on. Tell me what is it that you
Roads
appeal
are very bad. First of things,
Bad
roads
roads.
are very bad. Yeah. See, many people and many now the automen they also have back pain, neck pain, but the government is not taking care of that.
And that's your
What
appeal
about
to
that? Traffic is too much now, day by day, it is increasing.
you. Yeah.
So, of course, it's
that's
a
your
problem. That is the problem. Traffic is a big problem.
Okay.
And automen are charging too much now, double, triple. No, they are.
You use cabs?
Yeah, I use cab and auto, but the running auto, I find it was easy for us.
Yeah, I know. Well, we heard you, and I hope the government is listening to you, the people who are responsible to fix your infrastructure. This is exactly for you. So we're conveying your word. That's at max that we can do on our end. But I think Bengalurians have been a very vocal audience. They've often come forward and categorically said what they wanted.
Definitely, I love Bangalore. I love this city, but Bangalore roads are very, very
Terrible.
bad.
What is it that you want to change in Bengaluru city?
And there is no traffic sense.
Yes, there is no traffic sense.
Yeah, main thing is public transport can be improved, especially metro. Metro, I mean, it is under construction, but yeah, you can escalate your projects and more and more lines can construct. Like just like Delhi, each and every corner of the city is connected with metro. Here it is not that, so that can be improved.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that the top 3 requests that I've got from citizens of Bengaluru is roads, public transport, and of course better lakes. Basically to save our water bodies. This is what really brings out the charm of Bengaluru. Our water. And of course, the beautiful city as it is, it's now congested with traffic like never before. And that's one ask by most of them. Get your public transport up and running. Last mile connectivity should be more robust. Yeah, and that's it. You'll have traffic off the streets, possibly making and keeping this beautiful city clean and green like it always has been.
Also increasing, maybe we have to face the water problem also.
Yeah, we're already facing water problems. And that's why conserving our lakes is the most important. Absolutely, ma'am. All right, let's hope this is conveyed.
Water, we cannot survive.
Let's hope this is conveyed, and that's thank you, ma'am. Sankey Tank Lake right here that News 9 has stopped its bus. It's going to be traversing through the city. We will be picking up issues on the ground and what people really want and their message to the current regime. This is Nabila signing off with camera person Shrikant for News 9.